Welcome to the THRIVERY Podcast, the show that explores elevated living. I'm your host, Jacy and Smith, and in this community, we engage in conversations to inspire you to flourish in all aspects of your life, because you weren't created to merely survive. You were designed to thrive. Welcome to the THRIVERY Podcast. We're on episode 6. Can you believe it? I'm so excited to be here with you, friends. Thank you for joining us today. I have a special guest. I can't wait to share her with you. You're going to love her. We're going to have a great conversation, maybe about a topic that, I don't know, maybe you've heard before, maybe you haven't, but we're going to dive in and it's going to be awesome. Before we get started, I want to share a little bit about my special guest so you'll get a little acquainted with her. So Renee's passion and purpose is to help you regulate your nervous system and resolve trauma in your body so that you can move toward the life that you desire and deserve. Renee received her master's degree in spiritual psychology from the University of Santa Monica and is currently a somatic experiencing practitioner trainee, getting certified through the founder of this modality, Dr. Peter Levine's program, Somatic Experiencing International. A former professional improv comedian, Renee also helps companies and nonprofits with her comedy team building program, Empower Play. She lives with her family on the island of Coronado, California, and here she is. Welcome to the show, Renee Kohn.
Where was the drum roll, Jacy? There was
I know.
And
I forgot the drum roll. I mean, that was like a big bio, but that's just like a little snippet of who you really are. But my goodness, you have so many beautiful gifts and talents. And I'm just so grateful that you're here today. We're going to have a great conversation about this somatic experiencing practitioner training and all of the somatic healing modality that you can share with us, because I'm sure not all of my listeners out there have heard of this. So it's going to be a great conversation. I want to talk though first about how we know each other. Can we just talk about that for a second? Because I've known you for several years and we actually started, if you can remember, this is, gosh, how long has it been? I don't know, but it's how many?
It's been 6 years.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. It's crazy. Time flies. But we started out in this professional sort of environment together in the deep healing space. And then our friendship just blossomed. And now I have a dear sister and friend that I just treasure you. You are a gem. And you were even a part of the THRIVERY experience last year in Montana. And you're going to be a part of it this year in Seaside. So I just love you so much.
This is a love fest because I love you so much, my soul sister. And all the beauty you see in me is just mirroring back all the beauty in you. And I'm so grateful that we found each other. I really am.
I am too. And, when we talk about this deep healing, it's kind of, you hear it all the time now, but somatic healing, that's something that maybe listeners have heard, maybe they haven't. When you shared your passion with me, I got so excited because to me, it's like, of course, you're a natural. This is totally your lane, but I know it's something that you truly love. And you're just naturally gifted and talented in. And so I think when I think about you and the work that you do, because I know the work that you do and the women that you love, and I know that you have this specialty in helping women regulate their nervous system so that they can have this life that they love, that they deserve, that they desire. And so for friends out there who may not have ever heard this term before, somatic healing or somatic experiencing. If we made it really simple, like you were talking to maybe a third grader, how could you describe this in really simple terms so that we can all understand what is somatic healing and why is it important for us? And what does it have to do with our healing? How do we have this life that we love through somatic healing? If you could just walk us through that, I would love it.
Thank you. Somatics, basically, all that means is in your body or in your nervous system, the language of your nervous system. And so I'm going to give a little example. I love props and I have one. I brought a little prop. Okay.
Yay. I love props.
Here is a water bottle. Okay. And let's just say that in your life that and I'm talking to all you beautiful viewers out there, in your life, through the course of your childhood, your upbringing, your programming, your conditioning, your adulthood, your experiences, your relationships, just like all humans, we come usually with a full bottle of water. And what this can represent is challenges and trauma that gets stuck and trapped and stored in our body. And so, what somatic healing does is it factors in our physiology, because trauma can get stuck and trapped and stored in our body when we don't have two things: an empathic witness to help us, and a safe space to be able to process that trauma out. And, for most of us, when our parents doing the very best that they can, or whoever raised us as our caregivers, they, in a lot of families, didn't have the skills, almost felt, didn't have the skills or tools to perhaps be that empathic witness and to hold that space for us. Not because they were bad people, because life is busy and parenting is hard and all the things. And so what somatic healing is about is that here we are as a vessel with all of the stuff that can be stuck and stored in our body. And what somatic healing does is it goes to our lived experience. It's not a cognitive modality. If anyone's tried talk therapy and said, well, it didn't work for me, somatics is something that often does land for people where other kinds of therapy haven't. And so what somatic healing is that we go into the body and we go into our sensations that we have in our body to clue us in about what's happening in our vessel, in our nervous system, and in our body. And as we go in through our body and give these parts of us a voice and expression, and they get to be seen and heard and accepted right where they are, not trying to change anything, then what happens is, in our nervous system, the water slowly gets to get poured out. And so we start over time to release some of this trauma that gets stuck and stored in our body. And so over time, what somatic healing does is it gives us a clearer vessel. So then, instead of reacting to our partner and, tearing him or her a new one, we can have the capacity to respond instead of react. And we're not coming from a trauma response in our physiology. Because a lot of times, especially with people that are complex trauma survivors, we're storing a lot of trauma in our vessel, in our body. And so we have the best intentions of how we want to act, of how we want to love, of how we want to show up as a partner. And yet our nervous system can get hijacked because of these younger parts of us that are still in trauma and still believing that it hasn't ended and that we're reenacting it. And so what somatic healing does is it helps that cycle come to an end, and it resolves it in our system. And so then it helps the water bottle get, lower and lower and lower until we really are showing up as the pure vessel that we were created here on earth to be.
Wow. I love that. And it's something that I believe in too, and absolutely think is transformational in people's lives. I mean, definitely something that I've seen myself. And you talk about this this witness, this empathic witness, and talking about being connected. That's something that I absolutely believe in. Is I think we're created for connection. I talk about that in my community a lot. I mean, I feel like we were created for connection, and there's this thing about isolation. Just curious how this could work in with what you just talked about, or maybe it's just a comment. I don't know, but it just spurred this on in me when you were talking about it, that, we were created for connection, and trauma, when it happens, we have hurt and pain. And then isolation, I think, is really where trauma can compound itself. And connection is where we find safety and where we find healing. And it's what we were created for. So if we isolate, especially in our trauma, I think it just completely builds, and it's a cycle that just grows and grows and grows. And so when we feel alone with ourselves, in the world, with others, with ourselves, even without safety, I think we're left with just holding on to our hurt. I don't know if that makes any sense, what I just said, but I love the fact that you talk about connection, this witness, because some of us haven't had that, in the hurts and the pains and the trauma that we've experienced in life, our experiences. We haven't had this witness to be there to hold us safe space. And that's exactly what you do for sure. I know this to be true. And it's such a beautiful thing that when we look at this modality and know that it's just so interesting how we are really a complex creation, and we can't just sit with one part of our being. So when we go into all these different spaces, I think it just begins to connect things and heal things. And even if it's scary, and I want you to talk to me about that just really quickly, like for someone who is just starting out, has not done any healing, and they're now hearing this somatic healing, and they're like, wow, okay, what am I feeling in my body? Maybe they've never heard that, but if they're afraid to do it because they've never gone near anything, they've never come close to the parts that are so tender and that hurt, what would you say to them that could maybe, I don't know, give them courage or just inspire them to maybe be open to it?
Yeah, I love that question. What I would say is you're not broken. You are operating from the understanding of your nervous system. And that is a beautiful protective system that has kept you safe for all this time that you've been on earth. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. There's nothing to fix. What the journey is, what the opportunity is, beautiful, dear soul, is to help increase the capacity of your nervous system to feel safe with what is unfamiliar. Because if your sense of home was not being shown up for, or shutting down, or not being seen, or feeling only conditionally loved and not unconditionally accepted or loved, that makes sense. That's what got wired and absorbed in your autonomic nervous system. And so protective devices and measures and ways of coping have been incredible and adaptive for you. And thank goodness they have been there. And your nervous system has been helping you every step of the way. And what I want to say to you, beautiful soul, is neuroscience says that you can heal, and you absolutely can. It's not too late for you. You're not broken beyond repair. In fact, you're not broken at all. You have a beautiful, intact nervous system that has been helping you survive. And now what our opportunity is to help our nervous system and our younger parts know that the trauma is done, and it's our job, privilege, opportunity that we get to go in and reparent those younger parts. And then we get to show our nervous system that we get to be the operator and the driver of that instead of it hijacking and driving us.
That sounds like hope for a lot of people. I know it did for me as well. I mean, like just years and years of therapy of different types of modalities. And, when you're on a healing journey, you try the different things and you want to embrace and hold on to and really pursue the things that you find are really, you're seeing breakthrough in your life with. And I know that this is one for me, definitely, that I saw tremendous growth and healing from. And for you too, I mean, how did you get to this place where you have this passion and desire to guide these beautiful people through? Let's just be real. This is not for the faint of heart. I'm sure, we're in spaces all the time, right? Where we're with people that just have intense, complex trauma and life experiences. Then always an honor, right, to be in that space with them. But how did you personally get to a place where you're like, I was born for this. I already know this, but I want you to share how you got to this place for yourself.
Yeah. so many twists and turns. And I had been coaching for over a decade and just loving that. And I came to a place in my life about 4 years ago where I was diving into some big, deep challenges. And I just felt like I was being hijacked, like my nervous system was being hijacked by my old childhood trauma that I'd been working on for decades through,
Yeah.
therapy, EMDR, you
Mhm.
name it, baby, I've tried it. And,
Yeah.
and I actually was in a session with my therapist, and she said to me, well, Renee, you are in a trauma response right now. Are you okay if we stop right here and I help you? Not end
Mm.
the session, but she paused me. She's like,
Yeah.
I want you to pause. Love you much. Stop talking, girl.
Mhm.
And let me help you through this. And I was willing to do anything because I just had so much tremendous pain and suffering. Uh, my old childhood trauma stuff was just kind of rearing its head in my marriage and in parenting. And I just felt like I was drowning. And so I said, yes, do what you need to do. And 20 minutes later, I felt like a different person.
Mm.
And I'm getting emotional because
Mm.
I remember feeling like there was hope. Like my body, my cells, my insides felt different. And I was like, what voodoo magic did you just do on me? And my therapist said, well, that's somatic healing and that's parts work. And I would be happy to do that more with you. And I was like, sign me up 7 days a
Yeah.
week. I want, I'll have what she's having.
Right.
Holy cow. It transformed my felt sense. It transformed in my body that I wasn't stuck back in the pain. I wasn't stuck back in the darkness. It was something in my body that could really feel authentic power and hope and separation from my pain. And I devoured it. I was a huge student of somatic healing. I started taking workshops and classes, and then I was, doing somatic healing myself, and then using some of this with my clients. And then with my coaching clients, they were like, I don't know what's happening, but I am feeling better than I've ever felt. And I
Right.
feel this trauma leaving my body like the water
The
bottle.
water. Yes.
And people were experiencing so much freedom, and I was as well. And one my mentor, Sarah Baldwin, who's a somatic experiencing practitioner, I had been in some of her classes and just devouring the material. And I just thought, I need to tell the world. I need to be on the mountaintop, and I need to shout from the world. If you've tried everything, if you've tried talk therapy, if you've tried EMDR, if you've tried everything and you still feel stuck, then this is a way forward. There is hope, there is healing. If we learn how to regulate our nervous system and we learn how to increase and expand our capacity to feel safe with what has not yet been familiar, and we reshape our nervous system, we can become the person we were always meant to be. And it's not voodoo magic. It's not ethereal and crystals and all the things. No judgment on that at all. It's neuroscience. There are literally practices and things that Dr. Peter Levine teaches and takes you through, and they work. They work because our autonomic nervous system is capable of reshaping and remolding, and it physiologically changes your body and your blueprint. And in that place, in that space, miracles happen, Jacy. I have
Yeah.
seen incredible miracles happen. And in my own life, I have stepped into a place, and hi, P.S., I'm always a work in progress and process. I've stepped into a place of such dramatic freedom that, coming from a background of complex trauma, um, and you know my story, I didn't believe that the sense of freedom and lived sense of I'm safe in this world could ever truly happen.
Yeah.
And it is happening, and it continues to evolve and increase. And I guess I just want to say, anyone that's watching, that's listening, is this is meant for you. Freedom, safety, whatever modality you choose. This is the one for me that has been instrumental. And if this is yours, great. And if another one is great, it's just, I want to shout from the mountaintops that we all deserve to have this felt sense of safety and freedom in all areas of our life. And this has been the blueprint that I believe is very successful in getting people there.
Beautiful. I love that so much. And I, for one, have seen it. I've seen what an impact it's made in your life. And it's remarkable. It really is. It's hard to kind of wrap your brain around when I think about it. But I'm so excited for you. And I'm so excited for the women that you work with and future people that you will work with. I know that this is something that is going to benefit. It's going to change their lives. And I always talk about when you heal and you change your life, then you're actually changing legacy. And so it continues to go forward. And that's what's so beautiful about it. And I love that you bring hope to people that, because a lot of people think, I've done all the things. I have done every modality. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna get past this. I feel like I'm gonna stay stuck. I feel like healing just isn't for me. Maybe I'll just accept this little bit that I've gotten. And so I love hearing you talk about it. It's so evident that you are passionate about it. Just hearing you talk, it's very clear that this is something very, very important to you and something that you truly believe in. You just mentioned a minute ago about exercises, and I would love for you to kind of get into that a little bit because, we can get into the deep inner healing and the feeling it in our body and all of everything that this entails. And also, if you could give people something practical right now that maybe they can walk away with as they explore this modality further, I think it would be really, really amazing to just kind of share whatever you want to, just about these neural exercises that they can consider.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm going to geek out for a minute and talk neuroscience. And I promise I'm going to try not to lose anyone or myself because, I only understood this at a third grade level, 5 years ago. So in our nervous system, there are 6 states. And I'm going to go over the 3 main states today. And then, because in order to change or reshape our nervous system, which increases our capacity to feel safe to embrace new ways of being that we didn't grow up with, that we weren't conditioned with, that we weren't programmed with, that are completely foreign and make our nervous system go, we need to understand the vessel that we're reshaping. So super quickly, the 3 main states of our nervous system is ventral, and that's where we can feel some peace and joy, and we are regulated, and we can respond instead of react, and we are at this place really our most empowered and authentic selves. So that's ventral, and that's where we all want to get to, right? Because from that place, we're living our best life, and we are feeling empowered and peaceful. So that's ventral, and most of the world does not live there. And that is not what our society, unfortunately, inspires us to, because we're kind of the go, go, go mentality. Anyway, so ventral is one of the main 3 states, and that's the most desirable state where we're regulated. And it's not that we have to be there all the time, because we can't live there all the time, but that's where we want to mostly be, and that's our goal in somatics. And then we have another state, which is called sympathetic. And what that is our mobilization state. That's where, okay, we've got a lot of energy in our bodies and in our nervous system, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to pick up the kids, and we're going to do our job, and we're going to do all the things. And that's where we're getting a lot of things done, and that's great. However, we can't really relax. We can't really feel at peace. And we have this mobilization energy within us, and that's sympathetic. And in that state, we are dysregulated. And that was a shock to me to discover that, because I'm like, but I get stuff done and I'm nailing it and I'm doing it.
Right.
And yet, right?
Yeah.
And yet I'm not regulated. We're not regulated when we're in sympathetic. And that was like a mind blow for me. And then dorsal. Dorsal is the next main state in our nervous system. And that's where we experience numbness and shutdown. And if something comes up in our life, in our environment that feels too uncomfortable or painful, we can feel some like a haze or a fog come over us where we might feel a little bit far away. And that's where a lot of us live. And dorsal, by the way, is the most protective state of our nervous system. And again, our nervous system is always loving us, always there for all us, always protecting us. And the reason that a lot of us live in dorsal is because when there was a lot of pain in our early childhood and there didn't seem to be the ability to mobilize like in sympathetic, what happened was that our amazing nervous system said, oh, dear soul, I see you're in a lot of pain and I want to love you and protect you from feeling that. So I'm going to cover this pain and I'm going to shove it down. And so dorsal is the most protective state in our nervous system. And in order to get to ventral, where we're more regulated and peaceful, we have to move up the ladder to go to that state. And so what neural exercises do is they help reshape our system so we can go from whatever state we're in to get us to ventral. And there's a lot of people that say, you know, do this to regulate and do that to regulate. And that's great and well-meaning and well-intentioned. However, we have to identify first what state we're in to know which exercise is going to help us.
In October 2023, amidst the breathtaking Montana mountains, a THRIVERY experience emerged, giving life to its inaugural retreat, Ascend. Surpassing all expectations, this transformative event brought together over a dozen women in an immersive experience that left them empowered to uncover the visions and dreams that echoed in their hearts. Ascend transcended the typical retreat experience. It evolved into a shared odyssey of self-discovery, where every woman discovered a supportive sisterhood dedicated to the pursuit of an elevated life. The memories forged during Ascend will be cherished as an endearing chapter in THRIVERY, and we're doing it again this year. I'm thrilled to announce the upcoming THRIVERY experience for 2024. Innermost. Innermost will be held at an exclusive luxury property in 30A, Seaside, Florida, on September 20th through the 22nd. The beach home is a haven of luxury in a coastal paradise, nestled in the charming and iconic town known for its pastel homes and white sand beaches. This spacious property is brand new, has lavishly appointed bedrooms and bathrooms, a custom designed kitchen, and multiple common areas. The nearby beach is full of tranquil coastal charm, and the picturesque town is brimming with shopping, restaurants, and more. For more information and to save your spot, visit thrivery.store. Love it. So how do you know which state you're in?
Yeah. Okay. So here is what you can do. And here is what I do is you put one hand on your heart and one hand on your tummy, and you just close your eyes, and then you just do the best you can to feel into. Okay. All right, vessel. All right, body. All right, nervous system that I may have never talked to before, and this feels kind of funky and weird. Where am I right now? Where are you, body? Where are you, nervous system? Are you feeling peaceful and empowered and regulated and like you can take on anything that comes to you in the world? Are you feeling anxious and that energy of I have to go, I have to move, I have to get things done? Or are you feeling like you are shut down? And so the first step is just to feel into that. And then, as my mentor taught me, whatever comes up is right. Whatever pops up. Let's say your system says, I'm in dorsal. Cool, great, we'll go with that. It's really about starting to build a relationship. Like when you get a new pet, you don't know her personality. You don't know everything she's going to like to eat. You're just kind of getting to know her and, giving her different treats and whatnot. And so it's just like that with the nervous system. We just kind of start to try to form a relationship and go from there. Right. And we just trust that whatever comes up is right. And from that place, whichever of the 3 states that we're in, then we can go to a neural exercise. And I want to teach a couple today, if that's good.
Please do. I was going to ask you to anyway.
Okay, no problem. I could do this all day long. Yay. I'm going to teach you a couple of neural exercises that can go for any of those 3 states.
Perfect.
There are some exercises that if you're in dorsal, you don't want to do those because it'll push you down even further. And so I'm going to do a couple that will help you in any state that you're in. And this is something that you want to do not only when you feel like your nervous system is hijacked. Ideally, you want to do this as a practice every day when you feel regulated or not regulated, because what that does is that reshapes your nervous system to say, oh, okay, we're okay here, we're safe here. We can start to open up to new ways of being, and it's something that we want to get into a daily practice of if that feels good and safe to you.
I love it. You are the perfect person to teach this. And I was just sitting here thinking, like, this is just a side note, but you have so many vibrant expressions, and you have all of these beautiful gifts because you are in these spaces. I'm just thinking about this as you're talking. You're in these spaces, like deep inner healing in, really sacred spaces with people. And you hold space so beautifully. I know that personally. It's a gift. And then also, this is random, but I love laughing with you because you also bring out belly laughs. And I was thinking about, like life is interesting. Life is all of the things. And I just love that you're kind of in all of the lanes for people. And you have found a way to embrace life, and not just embrace it as is with all the trauma and all the things, but like, how do you actually live the life that you love? Because we're talking about thriving here. I mean, that's pretty much what we're talking about. I'm going to ask the question. I ask every one of my guests this
I know
question.
What's coming, girl. I know what's coming.
You've prepped, maybe, hopefully. You don't need prep, but I want to know, because you are a person, as I was thinking through all of that I know you're a thriver. You are. I know you. And you are the poster child for thriving. You just are. Well, you're a woman, but you know what I mean. It's like you just amaze me. So I want to know, thriving in life, share with our listeners, what does that mean to you? I love all of, everyone has a different idea of what that looks like, what that feels like. So talk to me about that. What is thriving to you?
Okay, I'm going to answer that question, and then I'm going to go back to do the two neural exercises because I don't want to forget that. I don't want to forget that. Okay, so gosh, it's such an amazing question. To me, thriving means having self-agency, feeling like I can be the master of my ship, taking into account life's unpredictabilities and my higher power who always knows better than I know, and feeling connected to my community and feeling like I am not a perfect mom because that doesn't exist, yet feeling like I have the skills and tools and resources that my sweet little boy needs, and that I'm a rock and I'm a safe space for him, and that I am nurturing and cultivating this beautiful, sometimes pain in the butt son who is going to thrive in his life because he's starting with the foundation of safety and being seen and heard and loved and accepted in his light and in his dark moments. To me, thrivery means I'm accepting myself with all the warts and bruises and ugliness and amazing things and exciting things, so I can also love and accept and embrace people right where they are. And to me, thriving means I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting for a certain time to come when I get this job, or this happens to me, or something in the outer world. Thrivery to me means I am embracing, wow, I didn't know I'd cry. I am embracing my inner landscape, and whatever is popping up and whatever is present, I am being with it to the greatest ability of my capacity with love and compassion, knowing that my childhood experiences and my programming make it make sense for why these things are popping up or why they are the way they are. And to me, thrivery is about the deepest form of self-acceptance that I can possibly muster, so I can have that freedom to live and to respond and not to react, and to have that inner freedom so my outer life can match what my inner world reflects.
Okay. Well, that was incredible. There were so many things that you said that I love, but I just, some of the key points there is like, we're not waiting on it. We're not waiting on it. And I love when we talk about freedom. And so you talked about that and a whole lot of other things in the middle, which is so beautiful, including the fact that you're a mother and you are just an amazing mother to the cutest little boy. He's
Thank
adorable.
goodness they make them cute, right? Thank goodness.
Oh, he is adorable. I have to mention that. Had to mention that. And I have to apologize now because I got distracted with a shiny thing because of something that you said, and I totally bypassed the exercises that I want you. We're not getting off of this podcast until we go back. There's no way we're ending this. So thank you for reminding me. I want to go back and I want to give you this opportunity. Please share those with our listeners.
Absolutely. Girl, soul sister to soul sister. You know what? We rein each other in. It's all
Yes,
good.
have
It's all
to.
good. Okay. 2 neural exercises that I would like to teach, and these can go for any state that you're in, ventral, sympathetic, or dorsal. And so the first one is called bilateral tapping. And so what you're going to do, Jacy, do it with me, girlfriend.
I do this all the time.
Good.
Let's do it.
Okay, so you're going to cross your arms and you're going to put your hand on your outer arm. And all you're going to do is you're going to tap. You're just going to tap. Could be a little bit of pressure, could be medium pressure. And all you're going to do is just tap for about 30 seconds to a minute. And what this is doing is this is telling our nervous system, you are safe. You are in the present and you are safe and it's okay. Our nervous system doesn't speak a verbal language. It doesn't get it when we're trying to talk to it. It only understands its own language. It has to be shown, not told. So this tapping communicates to our vagus nerve that we're safe. So that's one, the bilateral tapping, and that can help reshape our nervous system.
Love that one.
And then I'm going to do the VU sound one. And what this one is we're going to put one hand on our heart and then one hand on our tummy. We're going to take a breath in and we're going to make the sound VOO, VOO, in the lowest register that we can. And what's important about this one is that we want to do it in a low register so there's a humming and a vibration in our nervous system that it can detect. And so we're going to do the VOO breath 3 times, and then we're going to feel into how we feel after. So here we go. So this is the VOO. And all you need to do is before you do one of the neural exercises, check in with your nervous system. Okay, nervous system, which am I on? Am I ventral, feeling regulated and okay and empowered? Am I sympathetic, feeling like I've got a lot of energy in my body and I need to move and I've got a little anxiety or a lot? Or am I in dorsal, which is more shut down and numb and I'm really disconnected from my body? And so then from there, we see where we are. We do one of those exercises and then we rest and then we check in. And what we're looking for, Jacy, is not this dramatic lightning bolt like, oh my gosh, everything is amazing. My life has changed. I am healed. We're literally looking for, do I feel a little bit more present in my body right now? Can I feel this finger as I'm rubbing it just a tiny bit more? Am I more present in this room, or do I feel a little bit more capable or empowered, or just even a little bit more connected to my body? And that's all we're looking for, not any monumental change. Nervous system regulation is really implementing daily practices over time that help communicate to our body, our nervous system, our vessel, that new ways of being can be safe. And we're building and increasing the capacity. Kind of picture blowing up a balloon. So we start with no air, we get a little bit more air, and then over time, we get this beautiful full balloon that can carry us into a new way of being.
I love that. I love it. I actually, this is something I've talked about before, but definitely the tapping is something that I use. And I was doing this at 4 years old when I had some, trauma early on in my life. And I didn't even know why I was drawn to that. Also drawn to running. It would just calm me down, and that's definitely bilateral. I'm a drummer, drawn to that, bilateral, getting on a horse and feeling that, that back and forth, back and forth. Anyway, it's just fascinating when we start talking about the brain and how all of this plays a part in healing. It just is. It's fascinating to me to think about. So thank you for sharing those exercises with us. And I have another question for you. And this is something that I have a few. That's okay. Just gonna pop this one on you. I want to know for someone, again, that may have never heard of this before, it's new to them, and they're hearing you say, this has been life-changing for me. Practically speaking, in everyday life, when you're not in a trauma response, when you're just living life, what do you feel? How do you feel different? Is there a difference, or is it when you feel the triggers, when you feel those things come on? How does this improve your overall life?
My goodness. It is, I'm going to answer that question with a lived experience of my own. Is
Please,
that okay?
yes, that would be perfect.
The first, not generic, but the first answer is it does change it in the small moments, and it does change it in the large life defining fork in the road moments and everything in between. Life seems to get more, the colors get more brilliant. The presence seems more grounded. The empowerment starts to take hold of the body and the vessel, and new ways of being that had felt scary start to feel doable. And I'm going to share about an experience that I had yesterday.
Yes, recent. Love
And
it.
I can't promise I won't cry. You know me.
It's okay. Crying is allowed here.
Okay. So I hadn't even shared this with you. And thank goodness everything is great, and that'll make sense in a second. So a month ago, I had gone for a mammogram, and I got a call saying, "Oh, yeah, so we found something on your mammogram, your routine mammogram, and it doesn't look right, and we're not sure what it is. You need to come back in and have a follow-up. And by the way, we have an appointment in 1 month."
Wow.
What?
Right.
What? 1 month. Hi. What? So time goes by, and the appointment is on my calendar, and I am nervous, and I tell a few people in my life, and my beautiful stepsister Laura, just call her my sister because she is, offered to come with me, as well as a couple of other friends, and I was so deeply touched. And I said, I think I would really like that. Thank you. And more people I was talking to were saying, "Oh, I had that, and it's probably nothing, and don't worry about it." And I did my best to put it out of my mind, and yet it was sort of in the background. And so I go to the appointment yesterday, and let me just say the great news is, after 2 hours of testing and waiting for the doctor and whatnot, everything is great.
Yay.
And it was a shadow or tissue or something that was mimicking something they thought was abnormal. And they're like, "Yeah, just come back in a year. Just come back in a year." Like, okay, my last week was hijacked, you lovely people, but okay, I'll just come back in a year.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was feeling into that this morning, where I told people about this appointment. I allowed my beautiful sister to go with me. I even asked if she could stay in the waiting room with me and be in the room with me when the doctor came in to give the results. She took me to lunch after. We really celebrated. And I started feeling into that. And what moves me to tears in the most beautiful possible way is that my familiar and my way of being as a young girl, what was familiar, what was safe, was stay small, stay quiet, don't be seen, don't ask for help, don't tell anybody what's going on in the family, and just do your best to survive. Just do your best. And the fact that I could ask for help, I could receive the help, I could celebrate being helped, and that I was safe with that, my adult self and my younger parts, is a miracle, because that in the past was so unfamiliar and so unknown for me. And what felt safe was to be small and to hide and to not be seen and to stay silent and to stay small. And the younger parts of me have been witnessing over time adult me doing things that are disconfirming experiences, different than what my childhood lived experiences were. And over time, they have gotten the message, as my nervous system has been reshaped, that that is safe. I couldn't have done that 5 years ago. I couldn't have done that in my recent past. I would have, even if my sister had said she would go, I would have found some way to sabotage that or cancel that or something. But my system, my nervous system, has been being reshaped and reformed, that I felt safe enough. My younger parts felt safe enough, that did not know what this felt like, that didn't have that lived experience, that I could be held, that I could be seen, that I was worthy of support in a challenging time. And that's how this changes your life.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I did not know, and I'm so grateful for the good news, but I'm also beyond that. I'm just so happy for you to hear, that all of this work that you've been doing, this is absolutely answering the question in a spectacular way of how this affects your life, how it improves your life, and how you're showing up better for yourself. And these younger parts, as we talk about, it's almost like, you're building trust, right? And over time, these younger parts are seeing, they're like, okay, we can feel safe here. And so anyway, I'm just so grateful for the good news. And also it's amazing to see how you moved through that, how you did it differently. You showed up in life for yourself and others differently. And I'm just really proud of you. And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Really happy for you.
Thank you. And I want that to be a mirror for anyone listening. That's what is possible. If you're in a place right now where you feel stuck, where you feel like you've tried everything and nothing has worked, I want to give you the hope of somatics, because the big part of trauma getting stuck and stored in our body, as that is able to release, you do get to come into living the life that you were meant to. And you do get to start feeling safer with things that haven't felt safe to you. And that's, I believe, where the magic and the freedom really is.
Love that. Love it so much. And I love you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show today. It's such a treat to have you here. And I've loved our conversations. I know the listeners are really loving it too. And I know that they're going to want to know, how in the world do we get in touch with Renee? How do we reach out to her? Where can we find her? So for people who they're wanting to know, how do we connect with her? How can I get more support in healing my trauma with somatic healing? What would you tell them, share with them all of the things and how they can connect with you for more support?
Absolutely. So I do offer one-on-one coaching, and I would love to connect with anyone that felt moved by this. And my website is reneekohn.com. It's Kohn. You can reach me on there. My email is livewithjoyandfun@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram as Renee Kohn Coach, and on Facebook as Renee Kohn. So any of those ways you can reach me. We can set up a free call and just see where you are and how this modality could support you and give you the freedom that you truly deserve.
Thank you so much, friend. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I love you. I love you. I love you. And it's been such a treat. You are a gem. Thank you for joining us on the THRIVERY Podcast. I hope this discussion inspired you in your pursuit of elevated living. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow us, click the share button and send to friends, and also tag us in your socials. For more information and to stay connected, visit our website at thrivery.life. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you next time. In October 2023, amidst the breathtaking Montana mountains, a THRIVERY experience emerged, giving life to its inaugural retreat, Ascend. Surpassing all expectations, this transformative event brought together over a dozen women in an immersive experience that left them empowered to uncover the visions and dreams that echoed in their hearts. Ascend transcended the typical retreat experience. It evolved into a shared odyssey of self-discovery, where every woman discovered a supportive sisterhood dedicated to the pursuit of an elevated life. The memories forged during Ascend will be cherished as an endearing chapter in THRIVERY, and we're doing it again this year. I'm thrilled to announce the upcoming THRIVERY experience for 2024. Innermost. Innermost will be held at an exclusive luxury property in 30A, Seaside, Florida, on September 20th through the 22nd. The beach home is a haven of luxury in a coastal paradise, nestled in the charming and iconic town known for its pastel homes and white sand beaches. This spacious property is brand new, has lavishly appointed bedrooms and bathrooms, a custom-designed kitchen, and multiple common areas. The nearby beach is full of tranquil coastal charm, and the picturesque town is brimming with shopping, restaurants, and more. For more information and to save your spot, visit thrivery.store.